It should go without saying, but in this crazy day and age, it doesn't. So let me be clear. I despise Hitler. I despise Nazis. I despise neo-Nazis. I despise racism. If I could go back in time and literally chop off the head of baby Hitler, even if somebody said there's only a 20% chance he'll become that Hitler because now that you've gotten to him as a baby, you could raise him right, I would still chop off his head. My last name is Jaffe. I was raised Jewish. My dad's side of the family comes from Eastern Europe. Okay, I'm no fan of this guy. The guy's a monster. That's not what this is about, though. There's an article that came out today. Pace Magazine, you may have seen it. Cyberpunk 2077 is Game of the Year in the same way that Hitler was Times Man of the Year. Now, you could argue, is that a weird comparison? It's only weird in that it's so potentially inflammatory that it's weird that this journalist would use it without knowing how people would respond. But if you actually read the article, and a lot of people who are complaining today didn't clearly, let me just read you. I hate these videos where someone just, I don't know, just read, I like do some work, fucking YouTuber. I'm going to do some work. I'm going to analyze it in just a moment, but let me just read you the important part. He's talking about all the crap that went on with Cyberpunk. The crunch, the delays, the bugs, the refunds, the stock market cratering CD Projekt Red. They lost $1 billion in value, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Cyberpunk, he says, is truly Game of the Year because it represents all the problems holding the industry back. And because the size and the scope of the failure is so massive, he writes, Cyberpunk is the Game of the Year in the same way that Hitler was Times Man of the Year in 1938. Now, here's the key point. Well, there's two key points, but not as an award, he writes, or an accolade. Not as an award or accolade, but as a warning and admonishment to the rest of the world. And then he even kind of, he knows what he's getting into. And he says, so he kind of adds a little bit at the end there. He says, and no, we are in no way comparing a bad game to history's greatest monster. But if you're looking for an example of when an award isn't really an award, time kind of set the standard back in 38. Again, you can disagree with, or you can question, it's like, that's such a big leap to compare. But, you know, his analogy absolutely holds. I mean, no one is saying that a bad game is equatable to Hitler. I mean, he even comes out and says that. He's just saying that there's a device in journalism that sometimes you can award something kind of ironically to say that it doesn't always mean that the award means the best. It means the award is something that has great impact, right? And in this case, I think he's, you know, the analogy works. The reason this is even on my mind, though, is when I go to Twitter today, because this came to my attention going through Twitter and seeing, like, I mean, I don't know. I know some of these people, I'm not trying to call people out. Like, these are probably really good people. But I agree with this. He says the game needs to be scolded, yet comparing it to Hitler, that's a reach and a stretch, this guy says. I mean, Cyberpunk is deeply flawed, but let's draw the most bizarre comparison possible with Adolf Hitler being Times Man of the Year. A year of stupid shit, this takes the cake. Corey, my buddy Corey, even says, to be clear, this I'm referring to is the journalistic idea of Cyberpunk is equal to fucking Hitler. These people compared Cyberpunk to Hitler. What is journalism in 2020? They didn't do that, though. This is what I'm complaining about is it's like they didn't do that. If someone is like, hey, I think even though his comparison is correct in that, yes, at an analogy level, comparing this bad thing and calling it, you know, ironically good, giving it an award, and comparing this bad thing and giving an award, yeah, you could clearly, including the author of the article, says they're not equatable in the badness of the things. But he's absolutely saying that the journalistic device is what he's clearly talking about. He's not talking about the Holocaust is equivalent to a bad game. He even says as much in the article. And yet, you've got all these people rushing to condemn it. And I only bring it up because it's just one more brick falling out of the wall of critical thinking before you comment, wanting to jump to a conclusion that might make you look. I mean, I'm not even going to go over the number of likes these comments have. And well, fuck it, I will. This guy's like, these people compared Cyberpunk 2077 to Hitler. Almost 1,000 likes. I guarantee you this guy, if he read the fucking article, knows that's not what he's doing. And these, look, there's another one just hit, 993. The people liking it, you didn't read the fucking article. That's not what he said. Don't you realize the reason we're in the shit we're in right now, the reason we got fucking neo-Nazis marching in the streets, the reason we got these fucking ignorant motherfuckers who actually think they have a right, I mean, they do have a legal right, but they don't have a moral right to go out there and just shit all over the fabric that is a free and lawful society. Well, the reason is because we've become so fucking stupid. We don't read, we don't think, we don't question. We just see the headlines and we rush to comment. Come on. I just think we got to be better. I'm playing God of War right now, right? I'm playing Corey's God of War. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And obviously the line everybody quotes that I now get is when Kratos turns to his kid and he says, "Don't be sorry, be better." That's my advice to you motherfuckers. Literally, Corey says, I wish we were better than this. My pal Corey, I'm not, raking Corey over the coals, but I'm like, look, don't be sorry, be better. We are better than this. The way we're better than this is we start applying critical thinking. We start reading. We start thinking before we post, and that'll get us where we need to be. Anyway, there you go. That's it's a little Christmas gift for you. Gotta need a haircut.